CES coverage sponsored by GoDaddy.com, the leader in domain names, web hosting services. New customers save 25% by using promo code CES25 at GoDaddy.com.
CES coverage sponsored by Audible.com, where books come alive. Listen to a bestseller on your iPod or MP3 player. You can get a free trial over at audiblepodcast.com/CES.
CES coverage sponsored by Lexar Las Vegas. Get to the point. Rooms start at $40. See tpn.tv for Lexar advertisement, which is the gateway to savings.
Well, we're going to lighten up here a little bit on this next topic, and actually it's a very serious topic. We're going to talk about with Chuck from Cellcontrol.
How are you?
Good morning, and we were just way deep in the weeds there on that one with manufacturing. So, Chuck, tell me what Cellcontrol is all about and what you guys have brought to CES.
Well, Cellcontrol, our focus as a business is on the distracted driving problem,
Right.
not just domestically but throughout the globe.
Right.
With the proliferation of communications devices and productivity tools that people just have taken from the desktop to the laptop now into their hands, they also go into vehicles.
Yes.
We all know texting and driving is a bad idea.
Yep.
Emailing and driving, bad idea. And there's a lot of cases for even phone usage and driving is a bad idea because of the cognitive distraction realities. What we have as our solution is a three-part solution that ties the vehicle to the mobile device to a web-based policy dashboard that allows you to control and set up policy of how the mobile device, whether it's a phone, a smartphone, a laptop, or a handheld like symbol device that a route driver might use, how that mobile device can be used in a vehicle once the vehicle goes into motion. Now, as opposed to a number of other competitors that are using GPS or accelerometer-based solutions that tell you when the phone is moving,
Right.
we think it's critical to integrate with the vehicle, and so that's what we do. Our core deployment includes a aftermarket OBD2 plug that plugs into the OBD2 port, which if you've ever taken your car in for service, you know where it is. It's right there in the cabin, easy to find, easy to access because service techs have to be able to get to it in a hurry. So can you. So if you can plug a plug in, you can put our aftermarket device in for a passenger car. We also have a heavy vehicle or commercial and diesel version, the J1939 standard. Let's not get too technical, but we can do big vehicles and little vehicles throughout the globe. What happens is the vehicle tells us when it's moving. And if the vehicle is moving, it sends a Bluetooth signal to the mobile device. It's a friendly name convention Bluetooth signal, so it doesn't block channels. There's no master-slave conflicts or prioritization. It's an open handshake type signal, which allows it to manage multiple devices. But the Bluetooth signal says the car is moving. The application that's downloaded onto the device then blocks interactivity of the phone while the vehicle is moving according to the policy. Very customizable, whatever scenario you can imagine.
Hey, Jack, you're still hot on your mic. Okay.
So whatever policy you can think of, we can configure for you. Or you can configure for yourself, actually. The mom, the dad, the fleet or safety supervisor can do it.
You know, and if you think about it from a company perspective, I'm the owner of a small company. We have 10 people at the company. And basically, we just have an internal policy. Company car, you're driving, no cell phone use, because... And I can't imagine what would happen from a fleet perspective, because now, with the way people are, in other words, first of all, it's a safety issue. Number two, people like to sue. And
they love to sue.
And if you are a company, you get in an accident with a company, it's managed, that's a company. They got plenty of money. Let's go after them. Let's get the lawyer going here. And what are they going to do? They're going to pull cell phone records. They're going to pull all that stuff to find out, okay, was that driver texting? Was he on the phone? What was he doing to impact or, lower his awareness in driving? That's got to be factors that all these companies are just absolutely scared to death of today, aren't they?
Absolutely. And part of it is just the raw statistics. Not information that we've come up, but with the National Highway Transportation Safety Association, the insurance and highway safety institutions, the Governor's Highway Safety Association, they all produce numerous statistics that show a couple of points. 28% at least of accidents on the road today are caused by mobile phone distraction. You're 2,300 times more likely to be in an accident if you're texting and driving than if you're not.
Right.
And you're 4 times more likely to be in an accident if you're texting and driving than if you're drinking and driving.
That's amazing.
So it's a $100 billion a year problem in the U.S. alone, globally substantially larger. Our approach to it is, though, don't cut off everything, because we can't stick our head in the sand and think that people aren't going to bring their mobile devices into the phone. They're going to.
That's right.
And in many cases, it's a mission critical communication or productivity tool.
That's right.
And so our approach to it is, let's create the environment, let's create the tools so that the parent or the responsible party, whether it's a moral responsibility, financial responsibility, or legal responsibility, can establish a policy and then enforce it. Because as you noticed, or as you mentioned, you have a policy. It's a paper policy for now. And people are going to sign it. They're going to say they're doing it. But the human condition, look at us where we are, CES. The human condition is the entertainment, anytime, anywhere, any screen.
That's right.
It's the human need for connectivity and community. I mean, the reason I'm sitting here talking to you as opposed to doing it from somewhere else is I'd rather be with people.
Right.
We live in cities. We work in teams. We stay connected. And let's face it, the first thing you learned in kindergarten when somebody says, excuse me, is you respond with yes, ma'am, or yes, sir, or in some way you respond. So it's really programmed into who we are. Yep. And so then people take these phones or BlackBerries, iPhones into cars. It buzzes. They pick it up.
That's right.
It's Pavlovian.
It is.
And it's also, it's a...
and we feel bad if we don't.
Well, you feel bad if you're not getting calls, and you feel bad if you don't respond.
And even during the show, this thing's rang a couple of times. I know I can't answer, but I'm like, who was that?
Yeah,
So.
Absolutely. So we're just trying to, we think it's great that there are other competitors in the market. We think it's, one, as a business model, if no one else is chasing, it's probably not worth chasing.
That's right.
But we think that it's also good because it's raising the problem awareness in the industry that, we've got these technology devices. It's a technology-created problem. Let's have a technology-driven solution. And, we'll see who ends up sorting it out. So, we applaud the competition. We applaud the industry for taking note. And we applaud we've introduced here at CES an integration with one of the Tier 1 automotive suppliers to integrate our unique Bluetooth trigger, which communicates with multiple devices and device types, into their electronics packaging so that a car can roll off the showroom floor with a distracted driving safety component to it.
Can you say who that is?
It's Visteon.
Visteon.
Yes. It's one of the world leaders in global automotive technologies.
So I noticed here in your information sheet that you guys also won a pretty prestigious award recently.
Yeah, we did. We were pretty excited about that. Yeah.
So it says here you won the National Traffic Safety Institute Jeffrey M. Chase Pinnacle Technology Award for Outstanding Technology in Driver Safety. So that's that does I'm semi-familiar with this based on some stuff I've done with another automotive group, and that's a pretty big one. Yeah, we were excited about it, and the vetting process was pretty robust. They looked at all the other technologies, and again, a differentiator we believe for us, and whether the market ends up believing it or not, that's the proof of the pudding. But you got to start with the vehicle because that's where the distraction is, or that's the problem. The distraction's a handheld device. So you start with the vehicle, let it tell us when it's moving. Don't use GPS or an accelerometer, which is prone to failure, has signal latency, battery drain issues, and frankly can go off in a cab or a train or a bus. That's right. And so you've got to be able to override it. If the vehicle's moving and you're responsible for it, responsibly use your mobile device. Right. So is primarily your solution so far been aftermarket? Oh, yes, absolutely. We are, just because it's an emerging technology field, it's still in the innovator stage of technology adoption because we've just now moved through that or continuing to move through that problem awareness phase. So people are starting to say, okay, wow, and then it's out there. So you can say it's happening. Right. But then there's the element of then getting problem ownership. Yep. Where people say, it's not just happening in your house or in your company, it's happening in my company as well. And so now let's move to problem resolution. And so because we're the first people to offer an integrated solution in an OEM dashboard. I think that's pretty exciting. And we're pretty excited about it as well. We've also, though, integrated with a number of different fleet telematics type solutions where they already are doing the asset tracking, the route optimization, the milk run drive type technologies. Or even the long-haul truck drivers and all that. Absolutely. The Qualcomm sets of the world. We're integrating with those solutions now, but even that's an aftermarket retrofit. It doesn't come off the factory floor that way. What Visteon's doing is having it come off, making it an offering that can come off the factory floor embedded in the electronics. That's nice. So all of our sales to date have been aftermarket, which is, got to address that market because of the legacy vehicle base out there that doesn't have it integrated. It's an easy installation. If you can plug a plug in, you can plug in our OBD2 port plug. So and if you can click a button, you can download the solution. So is this mostly fleet-based at this time, or is there a consumer component to it as well? Well, we designed our solution from the ground up to be fleet or enterprise scale.
We think it's a large problem, and large enterprises have the bigger economic exposure
right.
and the litigation
That's
exposure.
right.
But we consider a family to be a fleet of 2 or 3 vehicles with 3 or 4 drivers. And so with our unique Bluetooth capability, we can have a fleet of 100 or 200 vehicles, 400 drivers that might get into any different vehicle at any different day.
That's right.
Without ever having to pair to any of those vehicles, which it's a
huge.
subtle but important technical
Yep.
difference,
Yep.
and it's part of our intellectual property and patents that are filed relative to that. And then also the ability on the back end, if you change policy, to push it out over the network without user acceptance or user
Right.
interaction. So there's no go fetch your software update, which you may or may not do.
That's
It is
right.
just done. So whoever's the responsible party determines policy, sets policy, and then we're able to help them to enforce policy. The extension of that is the insurance vector. They're the ones that really, at the end of the day, are doing the underwriting, assessing the risk, and pricing the risk.
So are they giving discounts to companies that are implementing your solution?
They have given discounts to commercial customers that have implemented our solutions, pretty
Oh.
substantial, that more than pay for what we offer. And we think that there's not only the hard cost of distracted driving, the lost productivity, the damage to the vehicle, the litigation. There's also the brand cost.
Yep.
In terms of, I don't think Coca-Cola or Pepsi bottling wants to see one of their vehicles on the side of the road because of a
That's
distracted
right.
driving
That's
incident.
right. And it's bad. That's just a headline you just don't get over very well.
Right, and one final point too is it's an element of duty of care for your employees.
True.
We're pushing out this productivity to them. The policy says don't use your phone. Guess who usually calls them? Their boss.
That's right.
And
While
so
he's mobile.
Yeah, it's the moral dilemma of do I respond or do I keep my job or do I keep myself safe? And people, let's face it, we all think to some degree we're invincible.
Yep.
They'll respond.
That's a fact. Well, it sounds very cool. I've got their website up, cellcontrol.com. And, of course, right on the website, it spells out your mission, technology to stop distracted driving. And listeners will be able to find more information over there at cellcontrol.com and probably find all the details. I see right on there, Fleet Family, so that's kind of cool.
Absolutely.
I've got a 14-year-old who's going to be driving in 2 years, and this is a big concern for me.
Yeah, well, I've got a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. They hate it.
Or
sure at least they used to, and then they found, it's kind of liberating.
That's right.
Because, personally for me, when I first put it on, it was kind of frustrating because I was as guilty as anyone. But then once I was able to say, you know what, this is nice. This is a time to let my mind be at ease and to focus on the task at hand.
Yep.
And then that's when you really do some of your best thinking, when you're not responding.
Yep.
When you're able to really digest and to think and to ponder the bigger questions.
And when their friends blame them, ask them why they didn't respond, they can blame it on Dad.
Absolutely. Well, they blame everything on me anyway, so,
That's
and
true.
they're usually right.
That's
so
true.
Well, fair enough.
Well, Chuck, very cool. I'm definitely going to check you guys out much closer and see what you're doing, and to check out the family portion. And if you're a business owner, this is something, if you haven't addressed it already, you really need to look at it, because all it takes is just one distracted driving incident to take a company out, because lawyers will suck you dry.
Well, here's where we're seeing the evolution in the litigation
And not only
environment.
that, to hurt the people that get hurt. Yeah,
Right, yeah. Well, the litigation environment, we believe, is moving. We're seeing billboards now. Hurt in a car wreck was the other driver being careless, and he's holding up a cell phone,
That's
which is a
right.
clear message. But the litigation environment for a corporate user or a fleet user is multi-pronged. First of all, the policy is a great first step. You got to have that. But then the question, let me be the plaintiff's attorney that says, what were you doing to enforce your policy?
That's right.
Well, we weren't doing anything
So
other
the
than
policy-
training.
so
Well, why
policies-
not? Yeah, so policy is a good first step, but it simply doesn't work. I mean, legislation, legal laws against texting and driving don't work. That's been proven empirically as
Yep.
well, published by NHTSA as well, that despite laws against texting and driving, the incident rate is still going up.
Yep.
So, you got to do something to enforce the policy and remove that moral dilemma for the employees and for your family of responding when they need to be driving. Let's face it, you don't hit things that you're watching.
That's right.
And so if you take your eyes off the road to deal with your cell phone, or even if you're using your cell phone to talk, you're thinking about something other than getting there safely.
Absolutely. Chuck, thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you, Todd.
I know the show is coming to a close this afternoon, but good luck with the rest of the show, and I hope you had a great one so far.
Thank you very much.
Jack, can you imagine having your kids start first driving and having texting and stuff?
No, I can't imagine me doing it if I started driving.
Yeah,
doing it.
it's one of those things that, and when they're with me in the car, I have a hands-free, and I'll take calls, but I've never text or look something. If my wife's with me, I'll ask her to look something up, but I just don't.
And he's exactly right. It's Pavlovian. Once you're used to, it rings, I got to answer.
Got to answer it. Yep.
Yeah.
Very,
I
very
can
cool.
do this and drive. Maybe not so well.
All right, we're going to.